Well, here it is, Sunday morning. I'm sitting here trying to decide whether to have a late breakfast or an early lunch. That's the way my schedule runs, you know. While I'm thinking about it, I'll have a little bit of grape juice. I kind of like the grape juice. I'm not a coffee drinker, so this is what I have with my breakfast. And my breakfast is usually a Jimmy Dean's croissant, sausage, and cheese. Yeah, croissant. That's it. They're pretty good. Well, let's put it this way. It only takes a few minutes to prepare. You just stick it in the oven. I come in and I start checking my messages on my iPad, see if anybody's interested in whether or not I'm still alive. And I was actually getting ready to get in the shower and do my hair. It's a mess. So it's time to see what I can do with it. So anyway, I was sitting here reading Facebook, and every now and then they have a good story. Somebody puts on little short stories, and I just love to read those stories. And most of them are about days gone by when they were kids, and these stories where they lived on farms or they lived in the mountains, and you can find some really interesting short stories on Facebook, and that's what I like best. It kind of keeps you in touch with people and keeps you interested in their lives as well as your own. So, came across a story, and I think I'd read it before. It, of course, was written by a man because he's talking about riding his bicycle when he was a kid and how he would pull up to the service station where the attendants took care of your needs, and he would get air in his tires at the service station, and he was giving the details. This was back in the 1950s. And while I was reading that, after I finished, I thought, you know, I have a little story to tell, and I may have told this story before, but if you're like I am, you've already forgotten it, so it's going to be new to you again. And this was back in well, let's start with like the 1970s when I was working here in Lexington. Worked out in the country, 9 miles out in the country. And one of my neighbors and I, we would carpool. And that was the days when you could drive up and you could either self-serve or you could have the attendant pump the gas for you. Now, if you had the attendant pump your gas, it cost you a nickel more per gallon. Well, my friend, she was one of those money pinching savers, and she would pump her own gas. Me, no, I'm not getting that smell on my hands. So I'd always pay the extra nickel a gallon. Now, that was in the 1970s. By the 1980s, I had moved to Tennessee, and my sister and I would travel together because we lived close together, and we would travel together to come home to visit Mama on the weekends. And there's one thing about the town, the main street going north and south. There was a little service station. I guess you'd call it a service station. It didn't even have the big Shell sign or the other makers. It was just a little white building with a couple of tanks sitting out front, and there was a big pile of used tires up against the building. Every time you went through down Main Street, that big pile of tires was there. You hardly ever saw a car pulled up getting gas. And I always wondered, what else do they do there? You know, you rarely saw an attendant coming out. So I needed to get gas, and I said to my sister, well, let's just pull in this little station here. I never have bought gas here before, and so we did. And this young man comes prancing out the door, and he's dressed as the attendant you've seen in the commercials on television back from the 50s. He had on his white shirt, had his little black bow tie on, and dark pants, and he had a cap on his head, young fella. And I rolled my car window down, and he stepped up and said, "Howdy, how you day?" Whoa. We had us a down-home country boy here. And I said, "We're fine." And he says, "What can I do for you?" I said, "Well, won't you fill up my tank, fill up my tank for me?" "Be glad to." "You from around here?" "No, we live in Tennessee." "Oh, whereabouts in Tennessee?" I said, "Well, we figured he wouldn't know where Clinton, Tennessee was. I said, "Well, we're from near Knoxville." "Well, sure are glad to have you here. What you doing here in town?" "Well, we came to visit Mama." Well, he start putting the gas in my car, and he keep talking. And it's a nice day, ain't it? Fine day today. "What you doing here besides visiting your mama?" "We're just going shopping, whatever." Well, anyway, he kept talking. Now, he's filling up my gas tank. He raises the hood on the car. He checks my oil. He checks the water, makes sure I've got water for my windshield wipers. He reaches over in the little box, and he pulls out those towels, and spray. He cleans the windshield, front windshield. He goes from my side, goes around the car, cleaned the other side, and he keeps still talking. He cleaned every window, went around the car. And my sister looked at me and she said, "Where are the producers for the Andy Griffith Show? We have found them another Gomer Pyle." As typical as anything you've ever seen, you would have sworn he was straight out of the Andy Griffith Show. He was another Gomer. He was another Goober. And he was so friendly, and he kept talking and kept talking. Now, he checked the air in my tires. He cleaned my windows, checked the oil and the water, and filled my gas tank for me. Where do you get anything like that today? It was such a delight listening to him talk, because now, you didn't come back. don't forget to come back. And I said, he's a down-home country boy. There's no doubt about it. Nothing more delightful than talking to someone like him. You could see he was a happy person. He had to be a happy person because the way he talked to us and the way he made us feel so welcome. And where can you go today and get that kind of service? Nowhere. Nowhere. Young people today have no idea the pleasure it was when you could pull up to a gas tank. You could get out of the car. The attendant took care of you. You went inside the little building, and you usually bought something to drink. They had those old soft drink boxes with the great big pieces of ice in the water that kept the soft drink cold. You'd get your soft drink and you'd get your candy bar while he serviced your car. Now, I'm telling you, through the years, I don't know how many times I drove by that little white building with the big pile of used tires sitting out front, right there against the building. Always wondered how much gas they sold to their customers because I never saw a car pull up to get gas until I did. And I thought, do they really make a living doing this? What do they do inside that little building? Are they selling tires? Are they repairing tires? That sort of thing, year after year. And I'm talking about 20 to 30 years. Well, I still go to Mama's house where my sister lives now, and I still pass that little building. But the pile of tires are not there anymore. The 2 tanks that sat out front are not there anymore. And I don't know what kind of business is going on inside that little building. But it's one of those things that registers in your mind and takes you back to childhood even. And then so many things you didn't know about that one little concrete block building, white, nice clean white building with a pile of black tires out front. You didn't know who owned it. You didn't know who worked there. And you never took the time to find out. That's what you call going back home, going back in time. So there aren't any places like that in my hometown anymore. They don't exist. Everything is different. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm going home. Main Street doesn't have a single dress shop, shoe store, department store, nothing. I can remember in the early 50s, you went downtown before Christmas. It was like you see in the movies. The sidewalks were crowded with people shopping. They would be 4 in a line across the sidewalk. And it was all you could do, get through the crowd to get where you wanted to go. The stores were so busy. And I know My oldest sister told me that one time Daddy never went shopping. Mama bought his clothes for him, bought his shoes for him. The only place he went was to the car dealership to get his car checked or to buy a new car. But he didn't have anything to do with shopping at Newberry's dime store. He didn't go to the grocery and pick up groceries. That was Mama's job. So, I don't know where I was going with this story, but it must have had a good a good ending to it. I'm just trying to show the difference between then and now, and what it was like going shopping. And you walked to town. You didn't get in a car and go. Everybody lived in the inner city, so they could walk downtown, and you were within a mile of home. And we walked all the time. None of those stores are there. JCPenney, Belk's, I can't name them all. There were the nicest little dress shops in town. There were a couple of men's stores, jewelry stores, gift shops, everything. None of those are there. None. And you can go downtown now, and there won't be a single person walking up and down that sidewalk. I miss it. A lot of people who come home after they moved away years ago, they think they're coming back home to their hometown. They're not. Main Street is not Main Street anymore. It's just a road taking you from one end of town to the other end of town. You don't pull over and park at the curb and put money in the parking meter because there's no reason to. Where you're going to go. You might find one or two restaurants, and that's the only reason you have for going downtown. Now, I don't know why I'm telling this, because my story was really about the Andy Griffith Show and about Gomer and Gooper. And I'm telling you, that young man that waited on me that day, serviced my car for me, was the most delightful person I have met in years. And when my sister looked at me and said, "Where are the producers to the Andy Griffith Show? We have found them another star." I thought I'd just give you a few minutes of chit-chat before I get in the bathroom and try to do something with this hair. Got on my little crinkled cotton house coat. I said, well, no point in putting my clothes on yet. If I'm going to take a shower, I might as well just wait. So now I'm going to finish my grape juice. See my pretty little glass? This little glass dates back to 1940. Do you know what? That's 80 years ago. And if I'm careful, I won't drop it and break it. Oh no, that'd make me cry. Because when you held on to something so many years, now I haven't had this glass 80 years. I've only had it about 45 years. And there were 49 glasses I bought in a big box in an old hardware store. And that's what these were, 49 glasses. and I've only broken 2 of them. I'm very careful with my little World War II glasses. And you know what? 2 of them fell to the floor and bounced. Didn't even break. Quality is what you had back then. So, here's to you. You have a good day. Most of you, I suppose, go to church. And that's good. It's a beautiful day today for going to church or any place else. And Jan's in South Carolina this week, and I'm hoping she has good luck. She'll find her a few thrift shops, but she's got to keep her booth stocked. Oh, and by the way, while I'm at it, she called me Friday morning, and she said, were you going to come to the antique shop today? And I said, well, I was just getting ready to go out the door. I was going to Walmart, and she said, well, there are 2 ladies here. They came in, and they looked at me and said, are you Granny Pat's daughter? And she said, yes. And of course, you know, Jan was wearing glasses like I wear. She had on the silver ones. That was, yeah, that told it right there. She said, yes, I am. And they said, we are 2 of her subscribers, and we watch her videos every day, and we would love to meet her. And I said, well, ask them if they can wait 20 minutes, and I'll be there. Yes, they said they'd wait. So I was out the door and going to Jan's, and it's not Jan's antique shop. She just works 2 days a week there. But Thursday and Friday are her days, and they just happened to come in while she was there, and they recognized her from some of the videos. So I went to Feather Your Nest, and they were standing at the front door waiting for me when I got there. There was Peggy and her daughter, Michelle. Lovely, lovely ladies. And we had the best conversation. They bought a few items, and I asked where they were from, and they were from here in Lexington. And I said, you know, I was beginning to wonder if any of my subscribers were from here in town. She said, oh, yes. She said, we watch you all the time. And I was just thrilled to get to meet these ladies. So I feel certain Peggy and Michelle are watching me now. So I'm hoping my hair will look better next time you watch. So I want to thank both of you for coming by the shop and for wanting to meet me. And it's just a big boost to me to know that I have viewers who enjoy my stories. So this is to you, Peggy and Michelle, and all of the other subscribers here in Lexington. You just go by Feather Your Nest on Thursday or Friday, and Jan will be there. And if you want to meet me, she will call me, and I can be there in 20 minutes. Keep that in mind. So, good morning to everyone. Hope you have a good day. Thank you.